and recruitment. This program is an initiative of Ingenuity HR Solutions, an HR consultancy outfit. We do recruitment and selection. We do headhunting. Um, we do HR audits, training and development. Our lead consultant is an A-star rated facilitator and trainer. So, and we have a faculty, just like last week, we still conducted trainings for an organization across logistics and accounting. So we do the whole broad spectrum of HR. And that's why I choose to call us your HR buffet company. That's for organization, corporate bodies, institutions. We also do individual, we provide individual products and services to help people, improve in their career, to help them get better. We do one-on-one career counseling session. We do CV writing and revamp, LinkedIn optimization, HR Academy, where we train HR people, both entry level, intermediate level, and advanced level of, HR professionals, where we train them in practical HR management, people management, understanding the business, being business partners, and just generally know how to operate within all the spheres of HR, operational, administrative, and even strategic. So we have that as some of the products that we and services that we render to people. This session is going to be skills. What are the skills that organizations are looking out for, even people who want to work in those organizations? And then, so what also are the skills that organization needs to focus on? And when I say focus, in terms of learning and development, training their employees, upskilling their employees in such skill. I remember one of the companies that came to us, and they wanted people to have um a more to move beyond performance appraisal and begin to go into performance management, where you're not just waiting at the end of each year to just tick boxes, fail people or pass people or give people high scores. People are promoted, everybody does what they want to do, and you know what, everybody moves on. It's talking about um moving from performance appraiser, which is usually like just a yearly one-time event, to performance management, which is sitting down, planning, being strategic about performance from both the appraiser and the appraisee. Everybody is on the same table. Everybody knows what is expected of them. So when we're talking of sustainable skills, future sustainable workplace skills, what are these skills that it's going to ensure that as a workplace, if you have these skills in place, you can actually um thrive and survive. We live in a VUCA world, and I would also even add it at VUCAD, which means the world is volatile, uncertain, is complex. Sorry, the world is V is for volatility, A is for ambiguity. Sorry, um, U is for uncertainty, C is for complexity, A is for ambiguity, and D is disruption. Things are happening every day. Companies, a lot of the companies that existed 10 years ago, some of them ceased to exist during COVID because they did not align themselves to the trend of doing things, to what the needs of the environment is. And post COVID as well, we have companies that are struggling. Meanwhile, we have companies that, they are expanding. I had a conversation with an HR professional who says, oh, my company decided to train me in this because they are looking towards, they know that expansion is going to come. And the truth remains that when you don't do what is expected, when you're expanding, or when you're doing something new, or things that are beyond your control in your environment begins to happen, they begin to affect the organization, as it were. There's something that is called SWOT analysis. You're looking at your strength, your weaknesses, then you look at threats and opportunities. Strengths and weaknesses are things that are within your own control. That there are things inwards, they're internal. But when you're talking of threats and opportunities, those are things that you cannot control. There are things happening in the environment. So, what are the opportunities in your environment that are available to you? What are the threats that could come to your business, as it were? Even no matter what business you do, there is always a threat. And that brings me to what I want to say, that it is very important for you to have these skills that is going to enable you to begin to shape yourself, to begin to position yourself, into an individual, into an organization, that the people that are in your organization at every point in time, they're able to quickly align themselves as things are changing. I can bet with you that not so many people would have said that there was going to the Strait of Hormuz was going to be closed. I just heard recently that it was going to be open. You know, all of a sudden the prices of fuel in Nigeria went so high, and I think it's not just in Nigeria alone; it's in other countries too as well. Every country is facing their own challenges, one way or the other. Some are complaining of immigration, excessive immigration into their country, while a country like Nigeria is having brain drain, where the best of their brains are moving out of the country. People do not want, even with what is going on, if some of the things that are happening currently are not addressed. I watched a video today, a whole like 10 communities in one. Everybody has left that community because of the level of insecurity in that community. So it's the world we live in is so uncertain, and there can be that. We're human. If you listen to the news, if you see what is going on, you can begin to ask yourself, what is left for me, even in my profession? It begins to be worrisome. I'll give you an insight. So for the government has come and has said that anybody who wants to practice HR, the as an HR professional, if you do not have HR for many years, and I mean they don't have CIPM, what does that tell those kind of people? That means they have to go and start getting themselves ready on how to get their CIPM. And this is not just for one profession alone. Excuse me. There's so many professions, there are so many regulations coming on. We see the new tax wonder and ask yourself, can I, excuse me, how can I even, keep up? So let's talk about the future of the workplace. I knew that during COVID, even before COVID, we talked about a lot of things. Oh, AI was going to take people's job. I was lucky at the time because I was working in a tech environment. By the way, most of my work life when I was in paid employment before I came into entrepreneurship, I worked in the tech industry. And trust me, if there is any industry that feels this thing, that you can say literally feels it faster than any other industry, it will be the tech industry. Things are happening like you've not even aligned yourself to one maybe product or one version of a software. They are bringing another version. So you can't afford to be static. You have to keep improving yourself. You have to keep getting better. And one of the things that was said was the fact that AI was going to take people's job. There's this debate: AI is going to take people's jobs were going to be extinct. This was way, way before COVID. And I would say then, I recall, because sometimes when we're having meetings, we watch all these TEDx videos where people will be talking about all the things AI could do far back as 8, 10 years ago. And I'll be like, when I rationalized everything, I knew that AI could not take people's jobs. And I would explain what I mean before people come for me or say, what is she saying? I read a book. The book is, and this is written by one of the partners with Elon Musk, who is a tech person too, as well, and the richest man in the world. His partner, Peter Thiel, who is also a very wealthy tech person. And the title of the book is Zero to One. In that book, one of the things he said, and I think that resonates with me when I watch movies, talking about maybe all these sci-fi movies, even though I don't really like them because I feel that they just stress you too much. You will see that at some point, there's always a storyline. Oh, something will happen, something will want to take over the world, maybe dinosaurs, maybe aliens, maybe something, somebody will just have something put in his brain and start acting funny, and start, maybe just um, causing chaos and things like that. And then they will go back and try to work or find a way to find a way to do something to correct that situation. So what does that tell you? That tells you that um, AI cannot take over the world. One of the countries that is making use of AI a lot is China. I learned China is one of those really, really advanced country, if not the most advanced, right, in technology. But even at that, there is always that human touch because AI will not do a lot of things human beings can do. AI, it was made by human beings. It's just the way we're using internet today. So AI is meant to complement your work. It's meant to improve work. It's not meant to be a replacement. And I love something that I saw early this month in China. For instance, they made a law that you cannot fire people for AI, because that is happening in some of the Western world where people just wake up and they'll sack maybe 6,000 people to say, oh, their job has been replaced by AI. And China is saying no. One calling AI as a replacement. Is meant to be an enabler. It's meant to be an enabler. And you see, people are now replacing, erroneously trying to replace AI with even logical thinking, with things that AI cannot do. I can't remember what I was asking AI the other day, and it said, it, I've never used that particular AI platform before. That was the first time, Gemini. And he actually told me, he put it there like a disclaimer: AI can make mistakes. So, what are we talking about? If AI can make a mistake, does that not tell us that we can't absolutely depend on it. It's just going to enable people. I will put some things into ChatGPT sometimes, and ChatGPT will tell me what you've actually written is fine. I don't have anything to add more to it. I like it the way you put it. And in my mind, I'm like, you are meant to be helping me. Do you understand? Excuse me. But after a while, too, after interacting with ChatGPT, it will it already knows me kind of. So it will say, maybe I just put something. Tell Grace that I'm angry and I don't want to see her again. It will say, why am I, what has she done? And even if it's something that is bad, I guess there might be ways in which, we can actually put all of those things together. It will just find a way of telling me, okay, maybe you can put it like this to her in a way that, it doesn't come across as if maybe you're angry or you're having a bad day. It will tell you because it has already studied you. It knows your pattern. What does that tell you? Like I emphasize, it's just going to be an enabler. It's not going to all the buzz about it replacing, and I can tell it's not going to happen. And I can tell you there are more complex things that are still coming, more complex things that are going to happen. I'm just going to talk through a few of these skills that I think is needed. One of those skills that I think is even fundamental, it should be number one, is adaptability and the mindset to want to learn. You must be adaptable. Remember, everything is changing. VUCA, disruption. This is happening. So it's only the people who quickly adapt themselves, the organizations that adapt themselves towards learning, towards change management, towards being resilient, having an innovative mindset, forward thinking organization. Those are the organizations that are going to survive. The company we trained for last week, they are not a big company. Like, they're not big by all standards. But you will see that this company, these people are forward thinking. Like, they already have, in an organization that is growing, they already have, learning plans, how they do their things. When I got there, I was taken aback and I was asking myself, so there are companies like this in Nigeria, from the environment to how they do their things to what you see, the kind of culture you see in the workspace. You will know that these people are going to be a very great organization. So, whether as an individual or an organization, you must be adaptable and you must be open to learning. Learning never stops. The day you stop learning, you deteriorate and, you know, you fizzle out. You fizzle out. Or like somebody will say, the D in disruption can also be um with death. That somebody will, may God not let us die, because you're going to be stagnant pretty much. You're going to be stagnant. I tell people every 3 to 5 years, and I learned that from my mentor, who says every 3 to 5 years reinvent yourself, do something, whether as an organization or as an entity. You have been doing something in a particular way, do it in another way. Don't be so focused. Sit and think, okay, we've done this thing for so long, is there a better way we can do it? That's having a learning mindset. That's wanting to know different things. And that's the kind of person that I am and the kind of organization that I would like to build. And organizations who do that, they're going to go far. I mean, they're going to really have competitive advantage because they're always thinking, they're always getting better, they are always looking for things they can do to improve themselves, to improve their knowledge, to improve their work. I'm going to talk about ethical leadership. That's one of those things. You talk about corporate governance, ethical decision making, responsible leadership, transparency, stakeholder engagement. I mean, we can go on and on about these skills, but they are very, very important. Gen Zs, the owners of mental health, these people would, they said there was a Gen Z who, at an interview, asked a CEO a question about the organization. And the response of the CEO, by the time they were making an offer to this organization, and they were curious why, she said, you didn't sound like an ethical person. Yesterday on the internet, a man was talking and he was just, saying stuff, saying things. And he was like, you know what? If he wants to go to hell, he doesn't care. He was just talking in a very carefree, careless, and unethical manner. We know of the young Nigerian um, whether city or I don't know what he was, for Paystack. What happened to the guy? These were corporate governance issue. When they were seeing his tweets since how many years ago, they're like, no, 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 no. You can't continue working for us. Another one happened recently also. A lady started talking about a particular tribe in Nigeria and said all their women are dirty, they don't have sense, just putting things out there that honestly is worrisome. And the organization terminated appointment because of that. My career, where because of ethical decision making, the organization had to take a stand to say this person cannot work for us. I have also had cases of leaving organization because the organization was not aligned to my personal and professional values, where I had to say, no, I can't continue working in an organization who I believe in integrity, I believe in fair treatment of employees, I believe in fair hearing, let people don't just make decisions irrationally to just do things. Those are some of the skills that it is very, very important. Ethical leadership. And when people are talking of leadership, they look at people at the top alone. Everybody is a leader. You are the CEO of your own life. You are the chief executive officer of your own life. You govern your life. And when you go into a workspace, you align yourself with how you govern your life. Another one I want to talk about: emotional intelligence and well-being. When people are at the initial stage of their career, eh, eh, you would overlook some things, and people are not even overlooking anything these days. You do things that does not demonstrate EQ, you're out. But when you start growing, even in relating with people, in relating especially with your customers, you need to demonstrate empathy amongst yourself within the workspace. You need to collaborate. There's you manage these things. There must be self-awareness. Okay, so we're about to train a company on emotional intelligence, and that's because people are saying emotional intelligence is so important. It is so important because um it makes people, it makes workplace easier for people to handle. How do you respond to people so that you are not having issues of buzz all the time within your workplace? Because when you have all of those frictions, who suffers at the end of the organization? People will not be productive, a healthy work health. The Gen Zs, that's what I call Gen Zs, the owners of mental health. They know, they are the ones that own mental health, not any other generation. Any small thing like this, my mental health, oh, my mental health, oh, they will leave your work for you. conflict resolution, like I said, collaboration, and even relationship management. Being able to handle difficult customer, aggrieved customer, and then empathy. Empathy is putting yourself in the shoes of someone else, even when you're not feeling what they're feeling. You're not experiencing it. And I think that that's one of the lucky skills in most workplaces, in most, even in our society generally. Most people lack empathy because if you're thinking of empathy, you're thinking of another person. You're not experiencing what they're experiencing, but you're putting yourself in their shoes to say, how would they be feeling in this kind of situation? How a customer comes and says something, you are not empathetic because you are not the customer. I remember training for a bank, and I asked the people in the customer service, it was a customer service operational excellence training, and I asked them, I said, how do you think, how would you feel if you lost money? How? It gave a lot of people an opportunity to reflect. It's because, let's say the truth, most people, hey, they don't put themselves in the shoes of the customer. The customer says, oh, my money disappears and all of that. They're afraid. They don't want to lose money. I made a transaction, it did not go. They're afraid. How do you treat such things? Or you say, I don't really care because you've not lost money before. Should you be that way? It's these are the real skills. When you put other people in the place of I mean, putting yourself in the place of another, as if you know you are one of those people. Those are some of the things that we're talking about. We're talking about data analytics, using data. Every day we are giving data, but do you know that most people don't do anything with those data? Most organizations don't do anything with it. Data is insight. Data helps you improve your performance. Data helps you in measuring the impact of what you are doing so that you're not working. You can compare, okay, what did we do last year in this area compared to what we did this year, so that we know what we're doing better. How much did we make last year compared, or 2 years ago, compared to what we made last year to what we're likely to make next year? Okay, because when you have the data, you can actually uh, change how you're doing things. When the data speaks to you to tell you, oh, this is not working, this is what you need to do better, these are the things that you need to put in place, so that you can make your decision. Let me also say, some people say, oh, but there's no data to work with. Sometimes you build your data from the scratch. I'm a data enthusiast, and I can tell you, almost in all my career, even before data analytics became a front burner topic, I had always been using data. I don't know, and I'm not it has nothing to do with maths, but I don't like taking decision not based on objectivity, based on emotions. I try to look at data. I remember one of the organizations that I worked with, I wanted to make a change, but there was no way I could make that change because it was a culture. It was a culture in the organization. So for me to make that change and tell them, oh, you people have been doing this thing, you cannot do it like that again. You can't just do that. So I had to collect data. And when I collected that data over time, I was able to prove to them that what they were doing at the time was not working. And because the data spoke to them, it was easy for me to make a change and then say, this is a better way for us to do it. I already had that better way. I proposed it. One of the things that people don't like, remember I spoke about continuous learning and problem solving. A lot of people in the organization bring problems without solutions. All of those things were talked about in the Workers' Day All Stars session that we had. If you have an opportunity, which was about 5 Saturdays ago or something, or Friday, yeah. If you have an opportunity, you can log into our YouTube channel and watch that quite insightful and power packed session. I came across something today, and it's a scripture in the Bible that says, when you learn and learn and learn, after you will now be favored. Learning is one thing you cannot go wrong with doing. You can. Let me tell you something about myself today. Do you know that because of the kind of job that I do, I tell a lot of stories, and they are real life stories. Sometimes I sit down and I say, Bolaji, I wish you had all those challenges and experiences that I was growing from, that was learning from. I wish I had more than I had, because they have now become the reference point in which I'm using in training people, in doing things. I worked, though. I worked. Like, when you say worked, I worked. I collected data. I pulled things together that I use in making changes, change management in all the places that I've worked in. Okay, that's on a lighter note. Then let's talk about human and AI collaboration. I think that the kind of future we should be looking at, or we should envisage, it might be slow to some of the countries like Nigeria, but it will get here. When I was working in Dubai, it was already happening, where humans were working, um somebody to, I mean, they had a conference, they call it GTEx, it's like a global tech whatever. Why when the all human beings were serving, robot too was serving for going about serving people food in the place. That's the kind of thing we should expect, where, you know, digital collaboration, technology adoption, proper AI literacy and understanding. The AI is not going to take your job. AI is not meant to stop you from thinking. It will take mundane things or things that can be automated, but it will not take away creativity. It will not take away human logic, because it was human beings that put all of those things inside AI, right? You know, so you're talking about things like, then finally, let me talk about collaboration and stakeholder management. Who are your stakeholders? Your stakeholders are your clients, your employees, your employer, your environment that you operate in. As a business, everybody is your stakeholder, and you must learn stakeholder management. You cannot be operating within a system and you fold your arms. There is this ESG. We know what ESG is. You can't be operating in an environment and you don't have anything that you're contributing to that environment. You are not collaborating with them. You don't know who, you are just there, just operating there. You're not doing give back. I used to work in a GIS company, and one of the things that GIS and surveying company, and I was in charge of logistics then. I remember one of the things that they would do when they go to communities to survey or do something, they did businesses with all some of these oil companies and the rest of them. They will partner with those people that are inside that place to employ their children for the project, to do things. In fact, it was almost like it has to be part. You as a business, you have to factor it into it, because you can't be going to people's community to just go and work there without having clarity, without knowing who you're working with or what exactly you're doing in that kind of environment. So those skills are very, very important when you're talking about community engagement, negotiation skills. That is very important. Whether you are negotiating with vendors or you are negotiating with clients, you have to know how to negotiate. I attended a training recently on negotiation, and the lady who was taking the training, when the question I asked when she was talking about negotiation, there will be some, you need to know there's something about budget. You have to be able to know how to budget. You have to be able to know, excuse me, how to present your skill, what's the acceptable, what you will not take. Sometimes you might not even be able to, you just need to be able to tell yourself, this is the list that I'm taking. You will lose some, but you will gain some. But you must learn how to negotiate in business. Is it about giving discounts? Is it about managing your stakeholders? And your stakeholders could be your client, they could be anybody, your board and things like that. I remember an incident that happened in one of the places that I worked in, and it was a social media issue. One of the stakeholders got a hold, you know, the way things go viral, and started saying, if your company does not address this issue, I'm going to stop being your customer. Eh? They say, ah, we're already addressing it, oh. We're so sorry. Some people will be like, who is she? Who is she? How much is she giving us? No way. All it takes sometimes is one stakeholder to begin to tell other stakeholders that don't go to that, don't deal with that company, don't have anything to do with that company. They don't have integrity. They are not ethical. They don't follow all of these things. You know, like that, like that, like that. And even communication. A lot of us are not great at communicating. How much more with your stakeholder? Your communication has to be open, it has to be clear, it has to be short and simple. No too long stories. Keep it short and simple. What is the purpose? Why are you communicating with them? How would you like them to proceed? Because in this day of social media, people have short attention span. They can't even retain a lot in their brain. So it's things that are short and quick, that's the one they will respond to. If what you're telling them to do is too, how will I put it, is too challenging for them, it's going to be a problem for them to assimilate these things. So you know, those are pretty much some of those skills. And we're talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, giving a sense of belonging where there's inclusive leadership. Some, I remember many years ago, a company offered me to come and do an interview with their company, and I googled the company. And when I saw the board composition, I said, I can't work in this space. They looked like people that were in another generation, and all of them were men. I've worked in mostly male dominated environment. I'm like, not a gay. No, 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 no. Let me go to a place where, you know, you have different people and things like that. I don't want, this is not what I want at this time in my career. And that's how I declined taking part, just because of the composition of that board and the people there. It looks like just a male, and they don't look like young people. So it means I'll be dealing with people my mother's age and all of that. I didn't want that kind of thing. So I mean, we're talking about when you're bringing up people, psychological safety. God bless my boss. I had a boss while I was working in a very toxic work environment. But that woman provided the psychological safety everybody needed for us at the time. So, as an organization, their heart in their mouth every time they are coming to work. I've seen people who will say it's because of lack of psychological safety. They already think. I had a friend who said she was working in a place and she told herself, let car just jam me so that I will not go to work today. I said, as how now? Like, car should just jam you. She said, And that was the moment she realized that she had to leave the job. Like, seriously, you wake up every day and say, hey, I'm going again today. There are jobs that people have that mindset. Meanwhile, there are jobs that people wake up every day and they're excited to be going there and all of those things. Again, both ways. So one of the things that I do, which in terms of anytime I find myself in an environment that is not pleasant, I focus on the learning. I tell myself, you're here to learn. Even if the environment is not pleasant, what you learn, nobody will take it away from you. And that's what a lot of people miss out. I worked in a place whereby I only worked there for maybe 3 years, but it felt like 30 years. And guess what? The skills, the knowledge, the experience I got in those 3 years. Oh my goodness. Some of them, I'm still using them till today. So again, what is your mindset towards learning? I think these are some of the things that we should be talking about. How are you making decision? How do you think? What do you even think about? Those are some of the things. As an organization, what are your sustainable development goals? At some point in one organization, they were just saying, let's go green. If it's not necessary, let's not print it. Let's do away from paper. And I was at the forefront of driving that paperless um workspace. Guess what? It was a saving grace, because not long after we completed that, COVID came. And that put us ahead of a lot of people, because that means we already had like a business continuity plan. There is no, oh, I want to go and be looking for a file in the office. All your files are already in the cloud. Everything you need, they were already, you don't need to. And while COVID was on, while we were in lockdown, we were recruiting in other countries. We were expanding, we were doing the work that we needed to do, such that the organization even did 500% of what they were meant to do at the time in terms of their growth. I think for most of us, one of the things that stops people is that being stuck mindset, not having a growth mindset, having a fixed mindset. You are just locked up in one place. Some of us, even if you work for the best, you see people, they work for the best organization. When you see them or they are talking to you, they can't really apply themselves because they've not put their minds into the line. When they tell them do something, they say, oh, this organization, their wala is too much. I was working in an organization, the learning hours that we had, they weren't paying us like, but we were learning. People learned. Do you know that most of the people who leave the organization, when they go to other places, they become bosses because of the kind of exposure in terms of learning that the organization has exposed them to? They learn. Oh, unless you want to tell yourself that, and it will be your own fault, because the organization, the workplace, build already has created the platform for people to learn, for people to work. By the way, I really started my facilitation from that organization where, I mean, 300, how many people? 500. Tell me to come and Sorry, I think I had like an internet glitch.
Hello,
What is
ma.
going on?
Please, I can't hear you again, ma. Or is it from my end? Please, can any other person hear her?
I think it's her network. I can't hear her from here too.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You
Apologies for the disruption. She's having network issues, but she'll try to join back soon now. Hello, so sorry. She has been trying to join, but I don't know what is wrong with her internet connection. But then, do you have any? So we don't keep you waiting here. Do you have any questions?
Maybe the tree was a plant, but Sunday strawberry will help them see the real reason for the gathering. I know you do.
Hello, Madam Grace. Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call, but I don't have any question for now.
My whole heart into this one. It's gonna be the greatest.
So you said something. I didn't hear that.